Welcome to our channel, Crime Loom, the place where true crime stories come alive. John Wayne Gacy was born on March 17, 1942 in Chicago, Illinois. He was the second of 3 children in his family. His father worked as an auto repair machinist and was often angry and drunk. His mother was kind and gentle, but she could not stop her husband from being abusive. John grew up trying to please his father, but no matter what he did, he was often beaten or called names. His father would call him weak or stupid, and the words stayed with him. As a boy, John was not very healthy. He suffered from blackouts and a heart condition that doctors never fully explained. He spent a lot of time indoors because of his health. He wanted his father's approval, but rarely got it. His father would sometimes show affection, but it was mixed with cruelty. When John helped a neighbor with work or did something kind, his father accused him of being soft. In school, John was not a great student. He was average in his grades, but liked helping others. Some teachers saw him as polite and willing to please. He was not popular, but he tried to make friends. He joined clubs and helped organize events. He wanted to belong somewhere. When he was in his teens, he realized he was attracted to other boys, but he kept it secret. In the 1950s, being gay was not accepted, and he was afraid his father would hate him even more if he found out. When John was around 18, he left home for Las Vegas. He found work in a mortuary, cleaning rooms where bodies were prepared for burial. It was a strange job for a young man, but he was curious about death and fascinated by the quiet of the funeral home. He sometimes slept in a cot near the coffins. Later, he said that one night he got into a coffin and held a dead body for a moment. It frightened him, and he soon left the job. He returned to Chicago to go to business school. As he grew older, John became very social. He was a smooth talker and learned how to impress people. He could be charming when he wanted to be. He joined the JCs, a local service organization for young businessmen. He worked hard in the group, helping with community projects and social events. People liked him and said he was friendly and generous. But behind that smile, he had a darker side. In 1964, John married Marlyn Myers. Her father owned several fast food restaurants in Iowa, and John began managing one. The couple soon had 2 children, a boy and a girl. On the outside, their life looked happy and successful. John was active in the community, ran events, and joined the local JCs there too. But rumors began to spread. Some members noticed that John would invite young men to his house, offer them alcohol, and behave inappropriately. In 1968, John was charged with sexually assaulting a 15-year-old boy. The boy said John lured him to his home and forced him into acts he did not want. Other young men came forward with similar stories. John denied everything, but he was found guilty and sentenced to 10 years in prison. His wife divorced him while he was in jail, and he never saw his children again. He served about 18 months before being released for good behavior in 1970. After his release, John returned to Chicago to start over. He moved in with his mother and began a small construction business called PDM Contractors. He worked hard and became successful again. People who met him thought he was polite, helpful, and dependable. He often hired teenage boys and young men for his company. He said he liked helping them get started in life. In 1972, John married again. His second wife was named Carol Hoff. She had 2 daughters from a previous marriage. Carol thought John was kind and fun at first, but over time she noticed strange things. He would disappear at night, come home smelling of alcohol, and sometimes had violent moods. Neighbors thought he was friendly and active in politics. He even dressed up as a clown for charity events and children's hospitals. He called his clown characters Pogo and Patches. People thought it was sweet and funny, but the clown makeup would later become a terrifying symbol of what he truly was. Between 1972 and 1978, John Wayne Gacy murdered at least 33 young men and boys. Many of his victims were runaways or worked for his company. He would invite them to his house, sometimes offering them work, alcohol, or a friendly chat. Once inside, he would trick them. Sometimes he showed them a handcuff trick, pretending to be a magician or clown. When they were bound, he would attack them. He often strangled them with a rope or a tourniquet. After killing them, Gacy hid their bodies in the crawl space under his house. He would later pour quicklime or concrete to cover the smell. As the years went on, the number of victims grew and he ran out of space. Some bodies were dumped in a nearby river. Still, Gacy continued to live as if nothing was wrong. He hosted neighborhood parties, joined local politics, and worked on election campaigns. He even had photos taken with important politicians. Smiling in his clown suit or business clothes, his wife eventually left him in 1976, saying she could no longer stand his mood swings and strange behavior. After she moved out, his crimes grew worse. Neighbors sometimes complained of a foul smell coming from his house, but Gacy always had an excuse. He said it was the sewer or dead rodents. Most people believed him because he seemed friendly and normal. In December 1978, Gacy met a 15-year-old boy named Robert Peast. Robert worked at a pharmacy and told his mother that a man had offered him a job with better pay. He never came home that night. His family reported him missing, and the police began to investigate. The man who offered him the job was John Wayne Gacy. When police first questioned Gacy, he acted calm and polite. He said he had never met Robert, but detectives found that suspicious. They searched his record and saw his past conviction for sexual assault. They decided to watch him more closely. They followed him, checked his house, and spoke to his workers. Many of them told strange stories about Gacy's behavior, how he would invite young men to his house and lock the doors. Police obtained a search warrant for his home. During the search, they found several suspicious items: a pair of handcuffs, a class ring belonging to one of the missing boys, and clothing that did not belong to Gacy. They also noticed the smell under the house. At first, Gacy said it was a plumbing problem, but the officers were not convinced. They continued their investigation. Gacy began to panic. He knew the police were closing in, and his life was falling apart. He drank heavily and told friends he was in trouble. One night, he even confessed to his lawyer that he had killed maybe 30 people. The lawyer thought he was joking at first, but Gacy's words were calm and serious. On December 21, 1978, police searched the crawl space again and found human remains. The smell was overwhelming. Over the next several days, investigators uncovered body after body. Gacy was arrested and charged with murder. At first, he tried to deny it, then claimed that another person had done the killings. Later, he said he had multiple personalities and that Bad Jack was responsible. But the evidence was clear. Police found 29 bodies buried under his house and garage. 4 more were found in the river. The news shocked the entire country. The idea that a man who dressed as a clown for children could be a serial killer was horrifying. Reporters filled the streets outside his house. Neighbors were interviewed, and many said they could not believe it. Gacy's home was torn down later, but the address became famous as a symbol of evil hidden in plain sight. His trial began in February 1980. The courtroom was packed with journalists and spectators. The prosecution described Gacy's crimes in graphic detail. They showed photos and evidence from his house. Several of his former employees testified about the strange things they had seen and heard. The defense argued that Gacy was insane, that he did not know what he was doing. Psychiatrists examined him, but the court decided he was sane and knew right from wrong. After weeks of testimony, the jury took only a few hours to find John Wayne Gacy guilty of 33 murders. He was sentenced to death. When the verdict was read, Gacy showed little emotion. He spent the next 14 years on death row at Menard Correctional Center in Illinois. During that time, he gave interviews, painted pictures, and continued to insist that he was not guilty. Some of his paintings, especially of clowns, were sold to collectors, though many people found them disturbing. Gacy became a symbol of hidden danger, a man who looked normal, but carried terrible secrets. His calm voice and polite smile made people question how someone could live such a double life. He enjoyed attention and often talked to reporters, trying to control his story. He claimed he was framed or that the police buried bodies in his house to make him look guilty. Few believed him. While on death row, Gacy studied law and filed appeals trying to overturn his sentence. Each attempt failed. Families of the victims waited years for justice. Some of them spoke in court about their pain and the lives that were destroyed. For them, Gacy's punishment could never be enough. On May 10, 1994, John Wayne Gacy was executed by lethal injection at the Stateville Correctional Center. His last meal was fried chicken, French fries, shrimp, and strawberries. When asked for his final words, he reportedly said, "Kiss my ass." He died at 12:58 a.m. His body was cremated, and his remains were not claimed by his family. After his death, his brain was removed for study. A scientist examined it to see if there were any physical signs that could explain his violent behavior. The results showed nothing unusual. There was no clear reason for why he became what he did. That made his story even more chilling. Over the years, Gacy's crimes have been studied by psychologists, criminologists, and law enforcement experts. They tried to understand how he could appear normal and kind to so many people while hiding such horror beneath his home. Some say he was a psychopath, someone without empathy or guilt. Others believe his abusive childhood and hidden sexuality might have fed his anger and confusion. Whatever the cause, the result was monstrous. Many of Gacy's victims were never identified for years. Police worked with dental records, DNA, and missing person reports to match names to the remains. Some families finally learned what happened to their loved ones decades later. Others are still waiting for answers. In recent years, investigators have continued to test DNA from the unidentified victims, hoping to bring closure. Gacy's story changed how police investigate missing young men. It showed the importance of tracking runaways and cross-referencing missing persons with unidentified bodies. His crimes also influenced public awareness about trusting appearances. People realized that evil could hide behind a friendly face, a clown costume, or a smiling neighbor. In popular culture, John Wayne Gacy has inspired books, documentaries, and films. His clown image has been used in horror stories and art, often as a symbol of hidden menace. But for the families of the victims, it is not entertainment. It is a reminder of real suffering. Each boy he killed had a name, a family, and a future that was taken away. Today, people still visit the area where his house once stood. The ground has been rebuilt, but the memory of what happened there remains strong. The number 8213 West Somerdale Avenue became one of the most infamous addresses in American crime history. Some locals say they still feel uneasy when they pass by. John Wayne Gacy's life shows how someone can wear a mask, not just as a clown, but as a person pretending to be good. He fooled his community, his friends, and even his family for years. Beneath the charm and laughter was a man capable of terrible cruelty. His story is both a warning and a tragedy, a reminder that monsters do not always look like monsters. Even decades later, Gacy's crimes remain one of the darkest chapters in American history. The details are hard to forget. The laughter of a clown, the hidden crawl space, the long list of young lives lost. For investigators who worked the case, it left deep scars. They described the smell under the house, the endless digging, and the sadness of pulling out body after body. It was a nightmare that haunted them for the rest of their lives. Some people have tried to find meaning in what Gacy did, asking whether society could have stopped him sooner. There were chances, reports of missing boys, complaints from parents, and stories from his employees. But Gacy always found a way to talk his way out, to use his charm to make people doubt their suspicions. His ability to act normal was one of his most dangerous weapons. In the end, justice caught up with him. The truth came out because one boy, Robert Piest, had a family who refused to give up. Their persistence led police to the house of horrors beneath the quiet streets of Chicago. That discovery ended Gacy's life of lies and gave voices to the many who could no longer speak for themselves. The story of John Wayne Gacy is not just about a killer. It is about the people he hurt, the families who searched for their children, and the investigators who refused to stop until they found the truth. It is about how evil can hide behind laughter, how kindness can be faked, and how justice, though slow, can finally arrive. Gacy once said that clowns can get away with murder because people trust them. He proved that trust can be deadly when given to the wrong person. In the years since his death, his name has become a warning, a reminder that appearances can deceive and that darkness can live behind a painted smile. And so the story of John Wayne Gacy ends where it began, in Chicago, the city he both lived in and terrorized. His crimes left scars that time cannot erase. The families who lost sons and brothers carry that pain forever. But they also remind the world to remember the victims, not just the killer. For every evil face like Gacy's, there are many innocent ones whose stories must never be forgotten. Subscribe to Crime Loom, and join us as we unravel more heists, mysteries, and untold legends.